Mighty companions, mighty companions, mighty companions, welcome to the way of mastery. Welcome to the way of mastery. Welcome to the way of mastery. It's already warm. Welcome to the way of mastery. I am Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to the way of mastery. Mighty companions, welcome to the way of mastery. This is Earl Purdy on Facebook Live. This is Earl Purdy. Of course, the ego is trying to mess with me, but I'm not going to let it do it. Yes, I'm not going to let it do it. Mighty companions, this is Earl Purdy. Welcome to Facebook Live and the Way of Mastery. I want to welcome you to the Way of Mastery. And we're going to be on page 319. Page 319 in the Way of Mastery. Lesson 27, lesson 27. The purpose of your work is to love. We are going to actually be on page 319, which is part of the section that's called Putting Your Purpose into Practice. But we're going to be on page 319 in Putting Your Purpose into Practice. Putting your purpose into practice. Hey y'all, it's good to be here with you. It's exciting to get a chance to get ready to go through the Way of Mastery. As people come online and you are, when people come online, then what we want to do is tell them where we're located. and we're going to be on page 319, and we're going to start with the paragraph that says, "The mind is so liberated." So if you have a Kindle and you want to find the spot, you just want to type on search, "The mind is so liberated." That's the paragraph we're starting off with, paragraph 3 on page 319 in the Way of Mastery. In the Way of Knowing. In the Way of Knowing, we're going to be on page 319, starting with the mind is so liberated. So I want to ask your help in that as people come online, let them know where we're located. Also, I want to ask you to share the video on your timeline. Share the video on your timeline. I would really, 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 really appreciate that. You can do it right next to the comments. And so here we go. Now remember, you don't have to believe the ideas. You don't have to accept the ideas. You don't have to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas are going to be hard to believe. Some of the ideas are going to be quite startling. And realize that our goal is to hear the message. Our goal is to hear what's being said. Our goal is to clearly hear what's being said and also to follow the instructions. And so as we go through this, excuse me, I got something in my throat. As we go through this, then we're going to do whatever Yeshua tells us to do through this channel material. This is not something I want to do that's just coming from the head. This is something that I want us to feel, to do it together. I'm glad we have comments. I can see your comments. And so it's really important that You open your mind and make it okay for you not to always understand what you're hearing or always accept what you're hearing. And I'm going to start with the paragraph that says, the mind is so liberated. I'm going to get my Kindle because I love the large fonts. The mind is so liberated. The mind is so liberated. The mind is so liberated that the mind knows as long as the mind chooses to love. So the mind is so liberated. So when the mind is liberated, what is it that the mind knows? The mind that is liberated, the mind that is free, knows that as long as that mind chooses love, as long as that mind follows the mysterious, quiet voice within its own heart, that the choices the mind makes, the decisions the mind embraces, the actions the mind takes, and the thoughts that the mind thinks cannot help but serve in the further awakening of everyone and everything. So perfect is the love that embraces the whole of creation, which is God. Now, as you notice, we read through it, right? But did it really impact you? Did that, what I just said, did that make you go, oh, wow? So let's go back. So what is the Way of Mastery's definition of a liberated mind? Well, it says the mind is so liberated that it knows as long as it chooses love. So a mind that is liberated is a mind that knows that as long as I keep choosing love, as long as I keep choosing freedom, as long as I follow the quiet voice inside of my heart, as long as I follow the quiet voice inside of my heart, as long as you follow the quiet voice inside your heart, then you know that the choices you make, the decisions you embrace, the actions you take, and the thoughts that you think cannot help but serve the further awakening of everyone and everything. So why are you here? You are here to serve in the further awakening of everyone. You are here, and I'm here to further serve in the awakening of what? Everyone and everything. We're here to help wake up everyone and everything. We're here to wake up everyone to the perfect love that embraces all of creation, which is God. So why am I here? The real reason I'm here is to wake up everybody as much as I can to the awareness that the love of God is perfect, that I'm here to be an awakener. You're here to be an awakener. See, I don't believe that people who are interested in books like A Course in Miracles, The Way of Mastery, The Course of Love, all of these divine spiritual texts, see, I don't believe that you would be interested in these types of teachings unless you were a very old soul, that your soul has had many incarnations in the body, and you're ready to go to another level of consciousness, and a level of consciousness where you're actually doing what you were born to do for real, which is to further wake up everyone and everything. Your purpose becomes to be an awakener. Your purpose becomes to be a demonstrator of love and truth in this world. When you really become spiritually mature, you really are more focused on fulfilling your function of awakening everyone through love and to the perfect love that is the Creator. And you know that your mind is going to be liberated as long as you listen to the quiet voice within your own heart. And you will know that if you're really listening to the quiet voice inside of yourself, if you're really paying attention to what you feel deep down inside, what that voice of love is saying to you deep down inside, then everything that you do is going to be something that helps. You're going to be a helpful person. You're going to be a helpful being if you're listening to your true self. And remember, your true self, your spiritual self, your divine self is never going to tell you to attack. Your divine self is never going to tell you to attack. It's not going to ever tell you to attack. It's not going to ever tell you that you're guilty. It's not going to ever tell you that you could lose eternal love. It's never going to tell you that you are not valuable. The voice that is your true voice is going to give you guidance that gives you more peace and gives you more freedom. And at the same time, it's helping everything and everyone around you. That's when you're listening to your divine voice. That's when you know you're listening to the voice for God. It's when you're listening to your own mysterious inner voice and following your heart, and you're going to embrace, you are going to see yourself as being a part of the awakening of others on the planet. So I know that this teaching is not going to be a teaching that appeals to people who are just trying to manifest more power, fame, money, and physical pleasure. If a person is probably studying A Course in Miracles or A Course of Love or any of those books, and all they're studying it for so that they can have more power, more specialness, more physical pleasure, and more money, then this is not going to be very, very satisfying, because this material is aimed at souls who know it's okay to have those things. When you wake up, you know, oh, it's okay to have personal power. It's okay to have money. It's okay to have physical pleasure. It's okay to have a certain amount of specialness, that's, you know, and uniqueness. But that won't be your goal. Your goal will be to stay free through being willing to be the conduit of love that you were created to be in this world. That's what's going to ultimately create the kind of peace and the kind of satisfaction and the kind of happiness. And people usually don't reach the level of consciousness where they are focused strictly on their spiritual purpose of being a conduit of love until after they've gone through many, many lifetimes of seeking power, fame, money, and physical pleasure, and realizing that those things in and of themselves does not give true, lasting satisfaction. So if you are to the point that it's more important to you to be free and to be loving and to be used by the universe for the healing of the planet, then you are an old soul that's ready to finally be truly happy. Now you're ready to be truly happy. That's what a truly happy soul wants to do. So it says, you've heard me say to you many times, you've heard me say to you many times that wherever you know a fearful thought, it can only mean that you're not thinking rightly. Whenever you have a fearful thought, it means that is, you're not thinking with the mind of God. You're not thinking with the mind of God. When is it that you're not thinking with the mind of God? You're not thinking with the mind of God when you have fearful thoughts. So whenever you have fearful thoughts, angry thoughts, or guilty thoughts, that's when you know you are not thinking rightly. Like people say, well, how can I know when I'm not thinking correctly? Are you mad? Are you angry? Are you upset? Are you feeling guilty? Are you angry? Are you mad? Are you upset? Are you feeling guilty? Are you blaming? Are you full of grievances? Do you think you have lots of lack and sickness and pain? Well, then that means you are not thinking rightly. So what does it mean to not think rightly? What it means to not think rightly is you're not thinking with the mind of God. You're not thinking with the mind of love. So how can you tell if you're not thinking with the mind of God? You know you're not thinking with the mind of God if you are paying attention to fearful, frightening thoughts. So if I'm listening to my thoughts of worry, if I'm listening to my thoughts of concern, if I'm listening to my thoughts of jealousy, anger, and attack, then I know that I am not thinking rightly. That is not a very complicated, the truth is not complicated. 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 The truth isn't complicated. The truth isn't complicated. The truth is simple. The truth is different. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. First thing it told us is that if you have a liberated mind, you know that as long as you choose love and truly listen to yourself, then you're going to be helpful to everything and everyone around you, and you will experience the perfect love of God. The next paragraph said to us, whenever you're afraid, whenever you're having a fearful thought, you're not thinking correctly. Whenever you're angry, all that's fear, anger, guilt, grievances, attack, all those things are just forms of fear. So when I say a fearful thought, I'm talking about what we would call anger, guilt, grievances, sadness, depression, lack consciousness, victim consciousness. All of those are fearful thoughts. And so the Way of Mastery says That's how you can tell that you're not thinking right. That means you're not thinking with the mind of God. And God is what? God is but love. God is but love. So when you hear the word God, we're not talking about a dysfunctional giant man in the sky that's arbitrarily punishing people for ridiculous reasons. We're talking about the infinite creative force of love that created and extended us all, that is unlimited and is truly what we are too, when we're beyond the concept of ourselves as just being physical bodies, and we get in touch with ourselves as spiritual beings. So how can you tell when you're not thinking correctly? You have frightening, upsetting thoughts. So what does that tell you? It tells you whatever you're upset about, whatever you're upset about, whatever you're upset about, it means you're not thinking with the mind of God. Whatever it is you're upset about, you're not using the mind of love to deal with that situation and circumstance. You're not using the mind of truth to deal with that situation and circumstance that you're upset about, frightened about, bored about, or angry about. According to this, you're not thinking rightly, which means you're not thinking with the mind of God, which means you're not thinking with the mind of love if you are having a frightening, upsetting thought. Okay, so how would the liberated mind work? Well, it says, if $1 million were to come to you as Christ, as the true self, if $1 million were to come to you when you are liberated, when you are in touch with your true spiritual identity, if $1 million were to come to you as Christ, which is as your true loving identity, you would say, this must be the perfect experience for me now. If you were fabulously rich, if you were fabulously wealthy, if you were abundant beyond your wildest dreams, the only thing that you would say about it is, I'm rich, and so being materially rich must be the perfect experience for me to have right now. Okay, I got somebody just gave me $1 million, so having $1 million must be the perfect experience for me to have right now. Now, what did I just share with you? I shared how the liberated mind would look at receiving $1 million. It would go, I'm rich, I have $1 million, it must be the perfect experience for me to have right now. If I got $1 million right now, I'm supposed to have $1 million right now. If I got $1 million right now, it must be the perfect experience for me to have. It's the experience of being a millionaire. So first you would say, I'm having the perfect experience that I need to have right now. The next thing you would say is, how can I extend love in this moment? Okay, I got $1 million. That's the perfect experience for me to have. How can I extend more love right now in this moment? See, the liberated mind would just see the $1 million as the perfect experience that mind, that person needed to have at that time. But it would go back to its main purpose. And my main purpose is what? To extend love. So if someone gave me $1 million, what I hope that I would be conscious enough to say is, boy, I just received $1 million. That's the perfect experience for me to have right now. Boy, I just received $1 million. That's the perfect experience for me to have right now. Now, how can I extend more love, God? How can I extend more love in this moment? I just became a millionaire, but what I really wanted to know is, how can I extend more love? How can I extend more love in this moment? That's the main thing that I want to know right now, is how can I extend more love in this moment? I just got $1 million. That's the perfect experience for me to have. How can I extend more love in this moment? Now, if you are an enlightened being, do you know what else you would do? If you are an enlightened being, and then what you would do if the next day your wallet is perfectly empty. If your wallet is perfectly empty, if you had the enlightened mind of Christ, if you had the enlightened mind of love, if you had the enlightened mind of your higher self, the way of mastery says, you would say, this must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. In other words, now I don't have any money. So this must be the perfect experience for me to be experiencing now. This must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. What is that event? I'm flat broke. I don't have any money. I'm flat broke. I don't have any money. And I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. If I was an enlightened being, I would say, this must be the perfect event. This must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. Having an empty wallet must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. To not have a lot of money must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. Do you know that that's what that's what a truly enlightened, connected to source being would say? I'm not saying that's what the average person would say. I'm not saying that the average person would even believe that was true. But I'm not talking to the average person. You are not the average person. You are not the average person. If you were the average person, you would not be listening to the way of mastery. You would not be interested at all in what I'm talking about right now if you truly were the average person. So let go of the idea that you could possibly be studying this and not be an old soul, and not be a soul that's ready to go to another level of spiritual consciousness. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You would no way that you're watching this broadcast and you're still watching this broadcast that you're not a much more older, advanced in the sense of ready for a new level of consciousness soul. That's what you are. So if you're an enlightened being, what would you say if you got $1 million? If I was an enlightened being, what I would say, if I got $1 million, I would tell myself this is a perfect experience for me to have right now, and how can I extend more love? This is the perfect experience. Having $1 million is the perfect experience for me to have right now, and how can I extend more love? How can I extend more truth? How can I extend more freedom? Because all of that is love. If I'm an enlightened being and I've liberated my mind and I know the love of God and I know who I am, and all of a sudden it looks like my wallet is completely empty, that I don't have any money whatsoever, if it looks like I don't have a lot of money, or my money flow isn't what I think it should be, or even what it normally is, I'm going to tell myself, you know what? This must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. This is the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. Not having a lot of money must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. How can I extend love in this moment? How can I extend more love in this moment? How can I extend more love in this moment? Me not having a whole lot of money, that must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. But what I really want to know is, how can I extend more love in this moment? In this moment, how can I extend more love? So don't say that the truth is complicated. Really, think about it. It's like, you don't have to believe this. You don't have to believe it, but it's the truth. The truth is, if you really know your connection to God, if you really know your connection to your higher power, if you're really in touch with your connection with your creator, if you got $1 million, you simply go, having $1 million is the perfect experience for me to have right now. But really what I want to know is, how can I extend more love in this moment? If you are truly enlightened, do you know that if you are a truly enlightened being and you didn't have any money in your wallet at all, you would say, this must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. How can I extend love in this moment? So what did we hear so far? We heard so far that the mind is liberated as long as it knows that if it chooses love and pays attention to the heart, what the little small voice within is saying, that everything that you do is going to benefit everybody around you if you're really being true to yourself. The next paragraph told us that when you're angry, when you're upset, basically when you have a fearful thought, you're not thinking right. An angry thought means you're not thinking right. So therefore, it means you're not thinking with the mind of God. When I say you're not thinking right, and not thinking with the mind of God is the same as saying I'm not thinking with love. So that was an easy point to remember. There's no such thing as being angry and thinking right. There's no such thing as being afraid and thinking right. I don't care how many justifications that the mind comes up with. It doesn't matter. If you were truly thinking correctly, there wouldn't even be a fearful situation for you to be dealing with anyway. So the Course, the Way of Mastery and the Course in Miracles, all of them are trying to give us another way of looking at things that will give us the opposite of what we are experiencing in a fearful world where people think that they're separate. It also told us that if you really wake up and you really become liberated, that if you got $1 million, you would just say, that's the perfect experience for me to be having right now. How can I still extend love? And then if you lost all your money and it looked like you didn't have any money at all, then it's going to mean that you need to tell yourself, this must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing now. How can I extend love in this moment? So if you want to use this class correctly, It isn't so much about us letting each other know how wise we are and how many true statements that we know that we can share with each other. What really is powerful in the way of mastery is for us to practice and remember, what is this paragraph telling me right now? What is this paragraph telling me right now? What is this paragraph telling you right now? That's where the focus should be. What is it telling me right now? I need to remember what? I need to remember that if I get rich materially, I should tell myself that that's the perfect experience for me to have in this moment, and then turn around and ask the universe, how can I extend more love and how can I extend more truth? Then, if it just so happened I didn't have a lot of money, or it looked like I lost money, or that I don't have as much money, for example, then I should also say, this is the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. How can I extend more love in this moment? So what is it saying to us? It's saying to us that whatever is going on in your experience, it is the perfect experience for you to have right now. And whatever the experience is that you're having, you should be asking your higher power, how can I extend more love? How can I extend more truth in this moment? Now, my ego wants to go, yes, but what about this though? But what about that? And what about this over here? And what if this is happening over here? What good would that do for me to say that if such and such is happening over here? Those are just excuses of the fear-based mind to keep you from using the information that your higher power is giving you right now, which is whatever you're experiencing, it is perfect for you to be experiencing right now. Does not mean that you'll always be in that experience, but for whatever reason, it's the perfect experience for you to have right now. And then the next thing you ask is, how can I extend more love? I know I just had an argument with my husband. I know I got fired yesterday, and that is the perfect experience for me to be having right now. And how can I extend more love? How can I extend more love? How can I extend more freedom? How can I extend more sanity? How can I extend more truth? That's what the way of mastery is telling us to do. It's telling us exactly what attitudes to take in every situation that comes up. And our job coming together on Facebook Live is to use this time to consciously remember together. That's what we're doing. It's really, what's powerful is that we are all connected in the now, because the now reaches out to everyone at the same time. Like all of us, every person you know, every celebrity, everybody right now on this earth in existence are now in this now. And so what we want to do is be aware of that. So when we come together with the way of mastery and we hear it, we're connecting and we're joining and we're bonding and we're allowing ourselves to have the power of God, the power of love, the power of now to come through us. Okay, now, the changing can never be the source of peace. What? Things that change will never give you peace. Things that change will never give you peace. That which changes can never be the source of peace. That which changes can never cause you peace. We're talking about the world of form, the world of form. Whether we're talking about dollars in the bank, whether we're talking about houses, whether we're talking about cars, people, friends, lovers, pets, plants, and all the rest. None of that can never be a source of perfect freedom. I'm sorry. Money in the bank can never be the cause of your perfect freedom. Houses and cars can never be the cause of your perfect freedom. People, friends, and lovers can never be the cause of your perfect freedom. Plants, pets, all the rest can never be the source or cause of complete freedom. That's just a fact. It may not be something I want to believe. It may not be something I want to hear. But in order for me to grow spiritually, I've got to become willing to hear stuff that I have resistance to. So what were the 2 points that Yeshua just made from the way of mastery? That things that change can never be the source of your peace. So whatever changes cannot be the source of your peace. It can be a means to peace. It could be something that you use to remind you of peace, but it can never be the thing that causes peace. Your bank account will not cause peace. Your house, cars, people, friends, lovers, pets, plants, none of those things can cause your perfect freedom. Why? Why is it that none of the things that I mentioned can cause your happiness and cause your freedom? Well, the way a master said, because these things arise and these things pass away. So they come up, they come and go. Things that come and go, things that begin and end, and things that come and go can never be the cause of permanent joy and permanent freedom. That's just a fact. It's not putting those things down. It is not condemning banks, houses, cars, people, friends, lovers, pets, and plants, and all the rest. The way of mastery is not condemning any of that. It's just telling us the truth that these things come and go. They rise up in our lives, and then they pass away. So they're like, it says, ephemeral shadows. They're like wisps of foam that's dancing on the ocean. In other words, what is it that causes the mind to suffer? What causes the mind to suffer is becoming identified with form. Suffering comes from being identified with form, which means suffering can come from being identified with the body. Suffering comes from being identified with form, the body. Now, what does it mean when I say that? It means that you suffer if you think you are only a form, a physical body. Do you realize that if you think you are just a physical body, you can go through what you would call suffering? Suffering comes from identification with form. Suffering comes from identifying with your separate self, identifying yourself with being a body is the cause of suffering in the physical plane. I don't necessarily want to believe that. I don't necessarily want to hear that. I don't necessarily understand that. What do you mean? It means this. If I think that this form, this body, is who I really am, then I can experience pain and pleasure and pain and joy and pain. If you think you are a body, then you can suffer and go through pain, broken in two by periods of time that it looks like the pain and suffering is gone. So suffering comes from the identification with form, that's right, Dana, which is the belief in being the body, okay? But so what is the body? What is the body? Listen very carefully. The body is a device for communicating and joining minds and hearts. So the body is a communication device. The body is a communication device. It is not who you are. Identifying with the body as being who you are is the cause of suffering, and the body is neutral. It is not bad. It is not good. It is neutral. So when the mind is liberated from attachment to form, when the mind is liberated from the attachment to, for instance, the body, that's when the mind is free. So when will a person truly be free? A person will truly be free when they have liberated themselves from being attached to form, attached to the material world, attached to the body. I did not say that it wasn't okay to enjoy the body, enjoy the physical world, enjoy forms. I said that you won't be free until you're not attached to a form. And that can also be the form of a relationship. You may have to change the form of your relationship in order to allow it to survive. Some people, some ways in romantic relationships, that can sometimes mean going from a sexual relationship with a person to no longer doing that, or living with somebody and moving out, or going from being girlfriends and boyfriends to being what you would call friends. It's a willingness to not be attached to the particular form or the particular appearance of anything. Then the way of mastery says, then the mind is free. So being free doesn't mean that I'm able to do anything I want to in the body and not appear to have any external limitations whatsoever. Ultimately, that will be true, but that's not initially what it's talking about. I'm not really free until I'm not attached to form. I'm not really free until I'm not attached to form. I'm not really free until I am asking myself on a regular basis, how can I extend love in this moment? I'm not going to be free until I continually tell myself whatever the experience is that I'm having, that experience is the perfect experience for me to be having in this moment. Now, it says, when the mind is liberated from attachment to form, it is free, for it is identified. The mind is identified only with content or simply the reality of love. So what does that say? It says that when your mind is free, you're only identifying with love. You are teaching only love because you believe love is what you are. So freedom comes from being identified with content. In other words, I would much rather see myself as a loving being than as a man, and a black man, an American. None of the forms are as important as the content of me being love. Being a being of love is what I'm most interested in now. I'm not interested so much in what's going on with the body. It's about, I want to identify with the reality of love. I want to see love as what's real and loving people as what's real. Okay, so just keep in mind all the time that as you wake up spiritually, you're going to be more concerned with the content, the inside, the mind, the heart of people than you're going to be interested in how their body looks. You're not going to be as interested in how much money they have, what kind of car they drive, what kind of house they live in, how successful they seem to be in the world. As you begin to wake up spiritually, that will not be the most important thing to you. The most important thing to you will be, is this a peaceful, loving person, or is this a maniac? Is this a peaceful, loving person, or is this somebody that's crazy and out of their mind and fearful and angry and projecting? You're going to be much more interested in the content of things than the form of it as your mind becomes liberated. As you get more in touch with your spiritual identity, you'll be much more concerned with the inner of a person than the outer of a person. Because you only want to be identified with the reality of love, okay? You only want to be identified with the reality of love. Are you still with me? If you're still with me, shoot me out some few heart emojis right now. And let me know that you're right there with me, going through this with me. Send me out some heart emojis. Give me some love. Give me some love. Give me some love right now, okay? Because this is powerful stuff. I need to be encouraged. I need y'all to encourage me. Help me now. Hear me now. That's what I'm talking about. Shoot me some love right now. I'm telling you. Because we've got to let each other know that we're here for each other, that we're still here for each other. So thank you. And I'll also thank many of you for your birthday wishes. I had a birthday on the 15th. I'm a mighty Sagittarius, and I received so many well wishes of love and happiness for the upcoming year. Let me tell you, I partied like a big dog, and I gave myself a lot of happiness, and I gave myself the opportunity to extend some love and some boogieing all at the same time. So I gave myself the perfect experience, and I was asking myself while I was there, how can I extend more love? That's exactly right, okay? Okay, so, God, okay. Take a breath, take a breath. I'm going to give us a little break here for a second. The changing can never be the source of peace, the source of peace. The world of form, whether dollars in a bank, houses, cars, people, friends, lovers and pets, plants, and all the rest can never be the source of perfect freedom, can never be the source of perfect freedom, because these things arise and pass away and are like ephemeral shadows, whisper foam, dancing in an ocean. When the mind has become identified with, when the mind has becomes identified with the form, it suffers. When the mind becomes identified with the form, the mind suffers. When the mind becomes identified with the form, that mind suffers. When the mind becomes identified with the form, that mind suffers. When my mind becomes identified with the body, the mind suffers. When my mind becomes identified with the body, my mind suffers. And guess what? When the mind is liberated, when the mind is liberated, when the mind is liberated from the attachment to form, the mind is free when the mind is liberated from attachment to form. The mind is free when the mind is liberated from attachment to the body. The mind is free when the mind is liberated from attachment to the body, because the mind is identified only with content. It's time for what? It's time for your mind to only be identified with the reality of love. It is time for you to only be identified with the reality of love. I mean, teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. So in any given moment, what do you have? In any given moment, you have the power within you to experience the reality of love. So in any given moment, you could experience real love. In any given moment, which includes this given moment, you could experience right now love's reality. You and I, we could experience the reality of love together right now. You and me, we could experience the reality of love together right now. That's right, Bree. We're love. It's what we are. That's right, Kim. Teach only love, for that's what you are. And Diana says, your voice giving this lesson comforts me. That's what I want, Diana. I want to comfort you. I want to comfort you, because you are also in this moment comforting me. And that's what we're here for. We're not here to analyze this thing and debate about it. We're here together in my classes so that we can join and experience the atonement, the release from guilt and anger and separation with each other by remembering the instructions that we're being given, and we're remembering the truth together. That's the purpose of my presentations. So in any given moment, you have the power within you to experience what? You have the power within you to experience the reality of love. That's right. That's right, Carla. We're here to teach love and unity, not hate. and to separate yourself from your blessings. So let me give you a quick pop quiz. If you became a millionaire and you just won the lottery, what would you tell yourself first if you were an enlightened being? You would tell yourself, this is the perfect experience for me to be having right now. How can I extend more love? That's what you would say. If it looked like you lost your job, what would you say if you were an enlightened being? You would say, this is the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. How can I extend more love? That's the two things. That's how you would respond to any and every situation as an enlightened being. So it's very important to keep in mind that in any given moment, in this moment, you have the power to experience the reality of love. And how do you want to experience love? Well, the way of mastery says you want to experience love unobstructed. You want to experience love unmediated. You want to experience love right now. You want to experience love when? I want to experience love right now. 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 How do you want to experience love? Without the need of magical means. In other words, without the need, I want to experience love without the need for the universe to arrange itself in any certain way whatsoever. In other words, I want to have love regardless of what's going on in my life. The universe, I don't need the universe to arrange itself in any certain way in order for me to experience love. I no longer want to say, I'm going to experience love when I go to Hawaii. I'm going to experience more love and happiness when I get that house. I'm going to experience more love and happiness when I get that special relationship. I'm going to experience more love and happiness when I get that promotion. No, if you are a liberated being, do you know that what you're going to say is, in this moment, I have the ability to experience real love, and I want to experience real love without the universe having to necessarily arrange itself in any certain way. I don't want there to have to be any arrangements that are different in order for me to experience happiness and joy right now. The truth is, you could be as happy as you could ever be, Raj, Earl, and you, mighty companion. You could be as happy as you could ever be right now if you were willing to let go of your belief that you've got to arrange everything in a different way, that the universe has to arrange itself in a different way in order for you to be happy. Okay? So in any given condition, in what condition? In any given condition. Now, does that mean in the condition that you're in right now, whatever that condition that you're in right now? Yeah, that's exactly what it means. No matter what the situation is that you're in right now, you have within yourself the power. You have within yourself the power. No matter what situation you're in right now, you have within yourself the power. What is the power that you have within yourself? You have the power to decide to literally feel love. You have the power to decide to literally experience love. So, I don't care what the situation is, what the condition is, you have within yourself the power to decide to feel loving and to experience love. You have the power to decide to experience your freedom and to feel your freedom in any given situation. Did I say in any situations? Good to see you, Miss Anna. Love you. So what is love? What is the experience of love? What is love? Okay. Love is a decision. The experience of love is a decision. You will experience love when you decide to experience love. You will experience love when you decide to. You will experience love when you truly decide to experience love. You will feel love when you truly decide to feel love. That's when you will feel happy. That's when you will know happiness. You will know happiness when you decide to be happy. Happiness is a choice. Happiness and love, which are the same thing, they are a decision. So, love or the experience of it is a what? A decision. Love is a decision. Happiness is a decision. Do you know that happiness is not a circumstance? Happiness is not a thing. It is not a person. Happiness is a decision. So love and the experience of love is a decision. Do you know that love is not something to be earned? I am not trying to earn your love because I can't earn your love. You cannot earn love. So anybody that tells you that you need to earn their love, run. Do not get into a relationship with someone who thinks that you need to earn their love. Love is not something that is earned. You also cannot create love. You can extend love through you, but you can't create love. According to the way of mastery, love is not something created. Love is not something that's earned. Love is a decision. You can decide to feel love. You can decide to experience love. And you can decide to experience love in any given condition. In any given condition. So that's what you want to remember. Remember that what are we doing in the way of mastery? We are trying to focus on what it is saying to us so that we can allow ourselves to think with the mind of God, which is thinking with the mind of truth and thinking with the mind of love. So, you can't earn love, you can't create love, but it's constantly, eternally present right now because love is the very identity of your being. You are love. You are love. Love is the very life. Love is the very existence of your being. Yeshua says, once I said to a beloved brother, merely stand up with arms outstretched and palms up, open the heart deeply, and ask whatever you will. What do? You stand up with your arms outstretched, palms up, and what do? You open your heart. How do you open your heart? You open your heart deeply, and then you ask for whatever you will, and it shall be given you. But here's the caveat. You have to ask as the awakened Christ. Okay, so how do you ask for something as the awakened Christ so that it will be given to you? How do you ask for something as the awakened Christ so that it will be given to you? You ask from that place within you that knows that only love is real. So, if you want to ask for something as the awakened love, if you want to ask for something as your awakened loving self, then ask from the perspective that you truly know, you truly believe that love is the only thing that's real. Fear is not ultimately real. The only thing that we can count on, the only thing that truly exists, the only thing that will be there no matter what is real love. So, when you ask for something, ask as the awakened Christ, which means You're going to ask from that place within you that knows that only love is real. So basically, if I'm going to ask for something as the awakened Christ, I'm asking for something in love. I'm going to want things out of love. I'm going to want to experience things out of love. And so whatever you ask for from a true place of love, it's going to be given to you. If you ask for love, you're asking for the one thing that God gives. And the one thing that God will always make sure that you receive is love. You may not get the car, you may not get the house, you may get the car, and you may get the house. You might get the promotion, you may not get the promotion. You might get that person that you want to be in a relationship with, or you might not get the person that you want to be in a relationship with. You might move to the city you think you want to move to, or you might not move to the city that you really want to move to. Because those things come and go. What you want to be guaranteed to receive is the truth. No one can fail who seeks to reach the truth. If you really want the truth, if you really want true love, you're guaranteed to receive it. If you want your version of love, you might not receive it. If you want your version of happiness, you may not receive it. If you ask from a place of true love, wanting what is true love and true happiness, you are guaranteed to receive it. It is on the way. So therefore, take just a moment, take just a moment, take just a moment, take just a moment right now, okay? If you're where you can do this, go ahead and do this. If not, think about it, okay? Stand wherever you are with your arms outstretched and your palms turned heavenward, okay? Stand up with your arms outstretched with your palm facing the sky, right? Think about your own heart for just a moment. So think about your heart. Your arms are outstretched, your palms are facing upward, and think about your heart. Think about your own heart. But just think about your own heart for just for a moment. Think about your own heart. And what I want to ask you to do is simply ask to feel, simply ask to know the reality of the presence of love. So go, I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. I'll stretch, put your arms out, have them stretch it out with the palms up. Stand up if you can and say, I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. And so breathe it into your heart. Breathe into your heart. I ask to know the reality. I ask to feel and know the reality of the presence of love. I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. I'm going to breathe it into my heart. I open the cells of the body. In your mind, imagine it. Open the cells of your body. Imagine the cells of your body actually opening up. Allow yourself to follow this exercise. I hope right now those of you are doing what I said, which is let's do what it's saying. Let's concentrate on what we're being told to do right now. So all of us really should be doing this exercise. That's what should be happening right now if we're sincere about doing this, because we were just given instructions by Yeshua. So we should be doing it, right? Which is taking a moment, standing where you are, having your arms outstretched, your palms turned heavenward, and then think about your heart, and then ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. I ask to feel and know the reality of love's presence. Breathe it into your heart. Breathe it into your heart. Open the cells of the body. See yourself as opening the cells of your body right now. Open the mind and simply receive what is available. I'm willing to see what is receive what is available. So say to yourself right now, I am willing to receive what is available. I am willing to receive what is available. Say that right now. I am willing to receive what is available. Okay, now good. That's good. Those of you who are doing this, this means you are doing the symbolic gesture that shows you are willing to be healed and happy because you're following the instructions right now, okay? You're concentrating and focusing on what we're being told to do, okay? Now, you can allow yourself to sit down again if you want to. If you think you did not get it, you are simply fooling yourself. If you think nothing happened, you are fooling yourself if you think nothing happened. It's okay for you to think nothing happened. It may be okay for you to think you didn't feel any great feelings or anything. But what you want to realize is that you are fooling yourself if you think when you do what you're being requested to do by Yeshua that nothing is happening. It requires only this. This is what the transformation requires. It means that you need to do a symbolic gesture. You need to be willing to stand up with your arms outstretched. Open your heart deeply. Ask for whatever you will, but do it as the awakened Christ. And what does that mean to do it as the awakened Christ? It means you're going to do it from a place in you that knows that only love is real. You're going to start asking for things from the perspective of only love is real. That I'm going to focus only on love, and I'm going to ask out of love. I'm not going to ask out of fear. I'm going to ask out of love. So I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stretch my arms out. I'm going to have my palms open. I'm going to think about my own heart, and I'm going to ask to feel the reality and to know the reality of love's presence. Then I'm going to breathe in and breathe that into my heart, and I'm going to see the cells of my body as opening up, and then I'm going to open the mind, and I'm going to open the mind to simply receive what is available, to receive what is available. So are you focusing on what we are being told to do by Spirit? That is your powerful symbolic gesture. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick recap of what I covered in this presentation. I want to thank you for tuning in to what I'm doing, and don't forget to share the video. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, as I am a full-time teacher, I have a teaching ministry, this is what I do. And if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation for what I share, then please go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y, earlpurdy.com. I'm also available for one-on-one sessions of mentoring, coaching, and consultation. And I'm also, I've been doing astrology and numerology for 4 decades. And it's called soul astrology for those who would also be open to those type of insights, which you don't have to be. But I am available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions. If you might be interested in going deeper with me personally, then go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and it explains in detail about my clarity sessions, and you can self-book right online, right there. And I have hundreds of videos of my classes on my website for free that you can watch. And please sign up for my contact list. I have Facebook Live classes 3 times a week, Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page. Tuesdays, The Way of Mastery, 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. And Hardcore Course in Miracles on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And the one on Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time is a Course in Miracles class. And on Tuesdays, we are doing the Way of Mastery. So I'm available. Use me. Take advantage of me. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And this stuff works. But it works if you take the time to get hold of your ego, pull it in, and go, I'm going to focus in on what I'm being told to do. All right? And I see all your comments, and I love how you've been in communication with each other. And so I'm going to do a quick review of what we heard this evening so that we can take it with us. So here we go. Thank you, Diana, for recommending my clarity sessions. Here we go. Okay, so what did we hear? What did we hear? Well, we heard that your mind is liberated. Your mind is liberated as long as it chooses love. Your mind is liberated as long as it chooses love. Because if you choose love and pay attention to what the inner voice within you is saying, then everything that you do is going to benefit everyone and everything, and you will be expressing the perfection of the love of God. Whenever you have a frightening thought, an ego thought, an angry thought, an upset thought, a fearful thought, then that's your way of knowing what? That's your way of knowing that you're not thinking right. And when you're not thinking right, it means you're not thinking with the mind of God. And do you know that not thinking with the mind of God means you're not thinking with the mind of love? Not thinking with the mind of God means you're not thinking with the mind of love. Not thinking rightly means that you are having a fearful, frightening, angry, upsetting thought. God is love. So what would you do if $1 million came to you tomorrow? You would say to yourself, this is the perfect experience for me to have right now. But God, how can I extend love? God, how can I extend the truth? God, how can I extend love? Then what would happen if tomorrow you lost all your money and you were broke and you didn't have any kind of money? Well, what would you say to yourself then? You would say to yourself, this must be the perfect event for me to be experiencing right now. How can I extend love? God, how can I extend truth in this moment? What was the other thing we were told in this presentation? We were told that things that change can never be the form of your peace, which is the same as saying bank, houses, cars, people, friends, lovers, pets, and all the rest. Those things cannot cause your happiness. You can experience and give yourself happiness through them, but they will never be the cause of your happiness. As a matter of fact, were we not told that when your mind identifies with the body, when your mind identifies with form, that is what causes the mind to suffer? So that means that suffering comes from identifying with form. Suffering comes from being attached to form, bodies, and material things. Suffering comes from being attached to form. It's not saying you can't enjoy form. It says suffering comes from becoming identified with form. That's how the mind suffers. Then we were told that the mind that's liberated from attachment to the body, the mind that's liberated from the attachment to form, that's the mind that's truly free. That's the mind that's truly free. So, what is it that starts to happen if you are becoming truly enlightened? Then you're much more concerned about the inner than the outer. You're much more concerned about the person's heart than the person's body. Much more concerned about the person's mind than the person's body. When you wake up and you have a liberated mind, you're much more valuable. You value the content more than you value the form. And you want to have the content in you that's the reality of love, the reality of freedom. So guess what? What can you experience in any given moment? What can you experience in any given moment? Do you know you have the power? You have the power. You have the power to experience the reality of love. You have the power to experience the reality of love. You have the power to experience the reality of love. You have the power to experience the reality of love. Unobstructed, unmediated, right now. You can experience real love right now without the need for the universe to arrange itself in any certain way whatsoever. You could experience true happiness and true love right now, regardless of your situation or circumstances. If there's a way that's possible for you to experience the reality of love and happiness, without everything having to rearrange itself according to your liking. So what can you do in any given condition? In any given conditions you have within yourself, you have the power to decide. In any given situation, do you know you have the power to decide to feel love? You can decide to feel and experience lots of love. You have the power to decide to feel true love. You have the power to decide to feel and experience love. Love and the experience of love is a decision. The experience of love is a decision. The experience of love is a decision. We were told what this evening? We were told that the experience of love is a decision. That the experience of love is a decision. That the experience of love is a choice. It's not a situation. It's not a circumstance. The experience of love is a choice. The experience of love. The experience of love is a choice. Love is not something that you can earn. Love is not something that you can earn. Love is not something that I can earn. Love is not something that I can earn. Love is not something created. You cannot create love. You can extend love. You can allow love, but you cannot create love. There is no such thing as making love. There is no such thing as making love. There is no such thing as making love. You cannot make love to anybody. You cannot make love with anybody. There's no such thing as making love. You can extend love, you can allow love, you can channel love, but you can't make love, because love is a decision. Love is eternally right now. Love is who you really are. Love is the very life and existence of your being. So my beloved brothers and sisters, this is what you should do. Stand up with your arms outstretched and with your palms up toward heaven. Open your heart and ask whatever you will, and it will be given to you if you ask from a place of love, wanting love. Ask for love. Ask to be able to recognize what you already have. You will receive what you ask for if you ask for truth and love. So just ask to feel and know the reality of the presence of love. Breathe it into your heart. Open the cells of your body. Open your mind. And simply receive what is available. Say, I'm willing to receive what's available. Now, allow yourself to sit down if you want to. And if you think you didn't get it, let me tell you, you're just fooling yourself, because you did get it. You are awesome. And tell yourself this: only love is real. Only love is real. Only love is real. Only love is real. I must put my purpose into practice. I must put my purpose into practice. I must put my purpose into practice. You must put your purpose into practice. You must put your purpose into practice if you really want to know true love. Mighty companions, like you said, Greg, asking you shall receive is what my mama always says. Yvette says only love is real. Bree says, I'm willing to receive what's available. Yvette says, I'm willing to receive what's available. Deep breathing, accept love. That's what you do. Listen to this over and over and over and over again until you remember what it's saying, and you will have incredible miracles. Mighty companions, I love how you were communicating with each other. I love how you are repeating and focusing in on the truth with me. Watch this many times. Share it with many people. I love you so much. I'm so glad that I have you and you have me in this insane, crazy world that we have made, that we're trying to transform. Mighty companions, we need each other. You have gone as far as you can go alone and by yourself. There's a point on the spiritual path that is important that you join. And let go of your desire to be right, let go of your desire to be special, and put the focus on what is it that I need to do to extend love. And tell yourself whatever the situation that I'm in this moment is the perfect experience for me to have. Doesn't mean you're going to stay stuck there, but there is some gift in it if you really and truly ask to recognize what it is. I love you. You're awesome. And I'll see you next time.